Toronto, Washington, speaking of that aforementioned outdoor game, Annapolis, Maryland is the site. That's home of Navy football. Wonder if our good pal Ken Niumatalolo is going to be there watching. I doubt it, but yeah, I don't know if he's much of a hockey fan. We'll see. But that's where Navy plays their football. That's where that game's taking place. Toronto, Washington, -120 for the Caps. Total 6 shaded to the under here, -115 to -120. It has been a really crazy 48 hours at the site of this outdoor game, the Stadium Series, as they're calling it, in terms of heavy wind. They had some snow in the area. There's still potential for some heavy winds going into the game tonight between the Leafs and the Capitals. So, again, how's the weather going to impact this game? I'm not so sure, but I don't look at that as a major impact in terms of handicapping the side. I mean, both teams have to deal with it when it's all said and done. Both teams have to play in the same elements, so you got to look at it that way. Both teams have to put up with it. Both coaches, Barry Trotz and Mike Babcock, have to put up with it. So for me, I just go ahead and say, which team do I like? Do I like the spot? Do I like the matchup? That kind of thing. And right now, you got Toronto in a spot right now where they had a tough loss to Tampa early in the week. Tough back-to-back spot against the Florida Panthers, and I thought they played well. Actually, they had the edge. They had the territorial edge in a big way in the third period. Yet Florida manages to tie the game and then win it in overtime, a Jared McCann winner in a game that I thought the Leafs deserved 2 points in, but Florida ends up with the overtime victory. I cannot help but take Toronto here plus 100 in this game. I think you got a good price here. You've got a team off back-to-back losses. Obviously, rest's not an issue because both teams have been off for several days. They always give teams a few days off before these outdoor games, and they did that for both the Leafs and the Capitals. I still think Toronto's the better of these two teams right now. I know Washington beat them in the playoffs last year, but that was Toronto, a very young team, getting their first taste of the postseason, and they still gave Washington everything they could handle and then some. Toronto's always played Washington tough. Playoff series last year, and I think Toronto's on the incline. I still think Washington's a little on the decline. I mean, I've not seen consistency whatsoever from this Washington Capitals team here by any stretch of the imagination. They're gonna have to show it to me here. And Toronto, believe it or not, in the outdoor games has not done too bad. I remember the one in Detroit; they won that game a few years ago. Not that that has any impact on this one, but and I can get plus 100 with Toronto against what I think still a little bit of a erratic, schizophrenic lately Washington team. What's Braden Holtby going to do? Am I going to get good Braden Holtby or not so good Braden Holtby? Or am I going to get Philip Grubauer here for this game? So that's another issue with Washington right now. So and Toronto in a good situation here. They're off 2 straight losses. They don't lose 3 or 4 games in a row very often. Even without Austin Matthews, no problem here going ahead with the Leafs here plus 100 against this Washington team. Alex B. Smith, Leafs and Capitals, outdoor game. I used to say these are always fun. They are still fun. I enjoy watching the outdoor games. It seems like they have too many of them right now. It's sort of lost a little bit of its shine, but I'm still going to be into it. It's national TV on both sides of the border, CBC and in Canada, NBC in the States, with the great Doc Emmerich calling the action. I always love hearing Doc. He's fantastic. Alex B. Smith, what do you see here? Leafs and Capitals outdoors in Annapolis, Maryland.
Yeah, I'm kind of over the whole trend of outdoor games and stuff. Especially being a Hawks fan, it seems like they play every year. They're going to play again next year in South Bend against the Boston Bruins. It's a bit of a money grab, and everybody I've talked to who's ever gone to one of these games says it's horrible to watch in person. That the sight lines are awful. I mean, you're trying to put something that small in the confines of a giant football or baseball stadium. It doesn't really work out as far as visually, but of course, like I said, it's made for TV, and that's the biggest part about it. But one of the key things here, as you mentioned, the weather has been absolutely weird in the Northeast. There's a big nor'easter that's covered most of that coast. There's rain, there's snow, but the high winds. If this game had been played a couple of days ago, chances are they would have canceled it and they would have had to move this indoors. Winds were gusting up to 60 and 70 miles an hour. When you start talking about that kind of wind, we always talk about it in football and baseball. You get winds on that level, it's going to affect every aspect of play. And in hockey, how can't really measure teams passing or shooting a puck, in high winds because it's not like we've seen it that often. Most of the times when you see these outdoor games, yeah, there's a lot of snow, the bitter cold, and things that we have to worry about. But I think with winds here, even though they won't be in the 60, 70-mile-an-hour range, right now they're gusting at 29 miles an hour, and we can see gusts as high as 30 or 40 during the game. I think that's going to really impact teams passing and shooting. Loose pucks that might be going around the corner. might make a bit of a different spin. Pucks coming off the stick, it might be a little harder for goalies to read. But I think the biggest thing, I think it's going to affect more of the passing and shooting aspect rather than the goaltending. I think the under is the play here. I think we're going to see teams trying to spend the first 20 minutes of play adjusting to how the wind is affecting the puck and how it's affecting everyone skating. I mean, that kind of high wind, you start talking about a lot of things. Ice, more ice built up on the ice. You know, more snow rather built up on the ice. It starts blowing around. Who knows what could happen here? So it's definitely gonna be fun to watch. But I think the under is the way I'm gonna be looking at in this game.
Yeah, I have no argument with that. Under 6 is remember it's 6-2, and you always get a 6 it seems these days with Toronto, so that's no surprise. But it's kind of surprising just based on the fact that that's maybe not because we talk about odds makers being asleep, and Dana certainly does when it comes to the NHL. Maybe they're not aware of what the weather could be like for this game and the wind situation or whatever. But yeah, under 6, if conditions are even the least bit, uh, influenced by wind or anything like that, it could be a little bit of an issue. Are those passes going to be tape to tape? Are those passes going to be crisp? Those cross ice passes, especially the passes where the puck has to go a mile, basically to connect with your teammate. That's going to be the issue in a game like this if the conditions are any bit fudged like that. So under for Alex B. Smith here, Leafs and Capitals, and I believe this is on Dana's card too, this outdoor game. See, we love the outdoor games here, the Ice Guys. Leafs and Capitals, Dana, what do you like here in this one?
Yeah, I kind of like the opposite for the same reasons. Myself and my lucky sweater think that, first of all, these guys have not had a chance to practice yesterday at all. I mean, they were supposed to get on the ice, and Barry Trotz said last night that I hope that they get on the ice this morning to try to get a feel for it. But, the one thing that people forget about, and I don't know how much this is going to actually have an effect because of the weather, but one thing that people forget about is the glare off the ice. And if these goaltenders don't have a chance to get out on the ice and actually play in this a little bit and kind of get used to it, if that's a problem, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go over a total if my goaltender can't see very well. I also can't believe that these ice conditions are going to be very good. I just think, and again, it's like it's kind of like in football when there's bad weather, I tend to go over because I think I like the chance that my offense knows where they're going rather than the defense's ability to stop it. I just think that there's going to be a lot of bad bounces. I think that the weather is certainly going to affect this game, so I think it's going to create more opportunities. And then if my goaltenders are either not able to fully I don't know. I mean, the light, even the lights off the ice is going to be out there is creating a glare. Let's not forget, these guys played, earlier this year in perfect conditions and they put up 6 goals. So what are they going to do in conditions where, there might be turnovers in your zone and, easy chances? I think this game goes over the total, and you're getting a plus price at 5 times. This is a Leafs team that certainly gives up a lot of chances. They're a transition team, so they're always an overlook anyway. And even without Matthews in a lineup, I mean, they've shown that they've had depth. That Nylander and Plekanec they've been fantastic. I think in perfect conditions, this would be an over. I definitely think in conditions that are less than perfect, this has the potential to be an over as well. And it's really, yeah, guys, it's really difficult too because unless I know what the ice surface is like, unless we know what the game time conditions are like, I mean that really kind of puts the cherry on the top for me. But I just think this is going to be a crazy hockey game with a bunch of scoring opportunities, and I'm not going to rely on either of these goaltenders to have a very good day. I like the over on this.
All right, so we got over 6 for Dana Lane in this game, Leafs and Capitals. And yeah, I mean, usually with these outdoor games, I'm not sure if I've seen an outdoor game with a total of 6 to this point. I think they've all been 5.5. I can't remember seeing a 6 at any point with any of them. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the glare with the goalies could impact them. Yeah, that's what's great about this discussion because you could make probably good cases for the total on both sides because it really is. There's different factors that could go into this thing and how it impacts this particular game. I will say this about Washington. I'm looking at their stats and I know they won their last game against Ottawa 3-2, and I was thinking in my mind, Washington's had a hard time stringing wins together lately, and I'm now looking at their recent results, and that's bang on. I mean, Washington is on a little bit of a bad run here in terms of games after a victory. They are 0-4 their last 4 games off a win. So they have gone 4 times now where they have not been able to put 2 wins in a row together on the board. They've not had that consistency. So they're going to have to show it to me here. And I think Toronto off the 2 losses in Florida. Again, that Florida game, Tampa Bay game they could have won. Florida game they should have won. They were the better team that night. So for me, I'm on the side Toronto plus 100. Dana likes the under. Dana likes the over, I should say. Alex likes the under. So a little bit of everything from the Leafs and Capitals game for you here on the SBR NHL Ice Guys. The only thing we're missing is Andrew to give you Washington. So then we got conflicts everywhere, 2 guys on different sides, 2 guys on different totals. So there you go. But we don't have Andrew today. We will get to Andrew's best bet, though, at the end of the show.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.